I see what you're doing. She was taking notes on the steps. That's what you're doing.
All right, we're live.
Kim will come and swear you in. You really do. Get sworn in. Just bring the oath.
Okay, so we're on. Okay.
We're live.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call, we have Jeff, Donna, Dennis, Bonnie, and Carla, our newest member. Welcome. Alderman Lesh, Kelly, and Tiffany. I guess, I know Harold said that they were coming to swear you in. We need to wait for that then?
I think you can do the meeting, she just won't be able to vote.
Vote until
Yeah.
she's sworn
I
in.
was gonna say,
Okay.
we've got a quorum, so,
Yep.
without her, so.
All right, need a motion to approve the minutes
Motion.
by Dennis. Is there a
I-
second?
Oh, sorry, hold on.
Hold on.
I have a change
I know,
on,
I will after we get a second.
okay,
Is there a second?
second.
Any discussion? Bonnie?
I had a correction to
Okay.
that donation sheet. You had, I think, James B. Mueller on that donation. It's James A.
Which page was that on?
Museum donated.
Oh, okay, good. Great. Okay.
What should it be?
James
A,
A.
James A.
But that's not on the minutes, right?
No, that was,
It's not on the minutes or agenda.
okay, you're right. That is just part of the packet, but I didn't know if by approving the minutes, that was part of it.
So we're good?
Under the report section, there's a genealogy research. You have that Bonnie Post brought up, there's no signage at the genealogy center it was Red Cedar Inn or Winchester Building at the time,
Okay, thank you.
but that's it. I'm done.
Is there a motion to approve the amended minutes?
Motion.
By Dennis, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Bonnie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public participation, we do not have anybody here, but the city clerk is here to swear in our newest member. So Carla and Kim?
Welcome, Carla.
Okay, all you gotta do is raise your right hand and read that.
I, Carla Stewart, being fully sworn on my oath, state that I possess all of the qualifications prescribed by law for the position of member of the Meramec Valley Historical Society of the City of Pacific, State of Missouri, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the State of Missouri, the provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of the fourth class, and the ordinance of the City of Pacific, State of Missouri, and will faithfully demean myself as member of the Meramec Valley Historical Museum Society, committee member of the City of Pacific.
Now you can officially vote. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Moving on to new business. Society logo. There was a discussion that, did we choose a logo or not? So we put it on the agenda just to clarify. Bonnie did come up with some suggestions. So open it for discussion.
Well, my recollection is when we had the tourism and our meeting together, I made a motion, and I believe Jennifer Blakely seconded that motion, that we accept that logo that Kelly's been using. Whether that happened or not, I don't know. That's my recollection. But if it didn't happen, I don't see that we can change it now that she's already got things ordered on there, using them, selling them. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think that would cost the city some money that we don't need to spend. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, if we've got that one already, we ought to just stick with it so everything is uniform throughout.
This came up whenever we were talking, I asked about the thank you notes for the donations for the museum, that we put the logo on the front of the thank you note to send out. And I did not realize, honestly, that we had been assigned that Red Cedar logo and then the Historical Society name. Kelly did send me a version. Let me just put my back to you.
It's okay.
She sent me a version, but the version I saw, or I have, the text is very light. And if it's far away, you can't see the words. That's just how I feel about it. But if we need to attach the logo to Red Cedar and the majority votes that way, that's fine. I thought we had a logo prior to, if you can confirm.
There was, there was a logo that the Genealogy Society had, and we just kind of, whenever we kind of merged, we kind of incorporated that, but I don't think it was ever really voted on or anything like that. It was, as I recall, was a tree with branches and leaves.
So real quick, sorry,
Dennis?
you're talking about our committee's logo,
Yes.
not the Red City logo.
Yes,
Red Cedar logo. I'm sorry.
yes.
I don't know anything about that then.
Yeah, with the Red Cedar logo, what was decided upon at a meeting between Tourism and Historic Society is it would use the Red Cedar logo, and to the right of it, it would say Meramec Valley Historical Society or for tourism. That way you would always incorporate Red Cedar as that is your focal point. The one that I sent to you had no background, so that way you can change whatever colors you want, which is probably why it looked light. So it was, if you put it on a blue background, you would see it. If you put it on a black, or if you want to put it on a red, that's what we use when we order things, because we have to have that transparent background.
But if we had a program or other promotional material of some sort, we are always attaching the Historical Society then to Red Cedar with that logo, correct?
Correct,
So,
because
mean,
that's your
is-
museum.
so since this would be a logo for our society, I don't see a reason that Kelly would have to, if we vote to change it, to just have a logo for our committee. I don't see a reason why Kelly would have to change anything from this point.
So the only thing that I would, just listening to what you're saying, Kelly, the only thing I would say is if we're having an event and it's at the Red Cedar, do we really want to have the Red Cedar logo and our logo together, or would we rather just have it simplified with the Red Cedar logo and Meramec Valley Historical Society?
I have it say sponsored by.
Something like that, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the tablecloth, we just purchased, the $90 tablecloth that you approved has that Red Cedar logo, and then next to it, Meramec Valley Historical Society. And it's a very nice fitted tablecloth, so when we go to fairs and stuff, we'll be able to put that on there.
I mean, I misunderstood originally, but I think for simplification, I like that logo, and, we could just have, when it's pertaining to us, have our name on there. If it's pertaining to the tourism, they could have their name on there. It's up to you all. I just think that we spend a lot of time and effort for this when we already have that.
Is there any motion recommendation, or?
So just keep the one that we've got, but just have it say sponsored by.
Or just next to it, it wouldn't say sponsored by, it would just say
Just say-
if it's tourism or the Meramec Valley Historical Society.
For the next meeting, will you include that in the packet? What you're calling that logo?
Oh,
for-
yes, yeah, we can do that.
Okay. So do you want to postpone any voting on it then
That's a
until we
good
see that?
idea.
All
Okay.
right. Is there a motion to table this item?
I'll make a motion to table until next meeting.
All right, by Dennis, is there a second?
I'll second that.
By Bonnie, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Hours of operation, there's a question of hours of operation, going forward, when we get back into the tourism season, is there any plans of changing? I know Bonnie had that question, and she can speak for herself if she has any additional questions for that.
I'd hope so. It just depends upon if the Board of Aldermen allows additional labor for additional days. So we hope and plan from pretty much the day after Memorial Day to the day before Labor Day. We'd like to be open 7 days a week just because that's your strong tourism season. But right now, we don't have the labor dollars to do so.
And if I remember correctly,
Go ahead.
didn't we say that those hours are flexible, maybe not expanding them, but moving them if we need to move them to like
Oh, yeah.
open later in the day and stay open later or something
Right,
like
if you
that?
want to like open at 11 and close at 5, we can do that too.
Yeah.
Like that amount of hours are set. The day, like you could say, okay, hey, we want Monday through Friday, not be here Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. Like that's easily maneuvered around.
That's exactly what I was talking about, was maybe one night a week be open later so people could go after work or after school or, something like that. And I believe it was brought up at one of the Board of Aldermen meetings about possibly being open if there's a Monday holiday. And most people would have off, that they be open.
I probably would not go for the Monday holidays, and the reason being is if you're traveling on Memorial Day weekend or Labor Day weekend, your trip is pretty much up at that time and you're no longer looking for stuff to do. You're heading back home. So I feel like it would just be kind of a waste of labor for the day. You just wouldn't get the visitors that you would have on that Friday or Saturday that was traveling through the town that's wanting the information. So, I mean, plus it would be holiday pay for
City
any of the
employees.
city employees as well. So, then again, if we get volunteers to come in, we haven't had any really step up. So if you would like to volunteer for those Mondays, I'll be more than happy to give you the key to go in on those 2 Mondays and open and stuff. So
I get holiday volunteer hours.
holiday volunteer, you work double the hours for no, but like the hours itself, we can maneuver around. Like if you're like, hey, on Wednesdays we wanted to be open until 6, well then we don't open until noon. Or if you take 2 hours off of a different day.
Yeah.
So that's all doable.
So right now, what's the restriction is the allotted amount of hours?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is what right now?
We're allowed 40 hours a week. Not per person, just 40 hours. And then make sure that you tag on at least a half hour before and a half hour after. One to set up. The other one is when they close down, they have to bring the money up here to drop it off at City Hall from the register. So,
Makes sense.
yeah. And to clean up, unless,
I mean, it's, you guys know what your visitors look like and times. If there's a day that is a little slow, maybe we can take a couple hours off of that day and add it to another day and see if
Oh, yeah.
we get some evening visitors.
oh yeah, and we also don't know what a whole summer looks like yet.
Right.
Because we haven't had that opportunity to see.
Yeah.
We may be like, oh, whoa, we need to be open, Sunday through Thursday or something like that. Maybe our weekends aren't busy. Maybe our weekends are the busiest. We just don't know what we don't
Right.
know yet. We just haven't experienced it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we need to sort of make a motion for the Board of Aldermen to consider the hours of operation? Possible change in hours of operation?
If this board decides anything and makes a recommendation, yeah, you need a motion, and then we'd carry it forward to the board.
I don't know if there really is. I mean, I think right now we need to leave it up to Kelly to make the decision on the hours at this point. I mean, we could suggest that, look into changing or fluctuating the hours, but I don't know if a motion is necessary. I mean, that's my thoughts, but.
Yeah, I mean, we could make a motion and tell her, stay open 2 hours later on Thursdays, and Thursdays may be the dead day, and, so I think it's something that if we decide that we want this to be pursued, Kelly probably needs to take a look at the hours and the visitor log and come back with a suggestion to us. as
Yeah,
to.
we do track attendance, and we also track the weather alongside the attendance, just to see if we see any patterns, like maybe rainy days or slower days, or, sunny days are the days that we're really busy. Now, we can't project the weather, but we can at least see patterns,
Right.
and be like, okay, during the summer, this happens, or,
Yeah,
and we haven't figured out where our travelers, if they travel through here on Mondays, or if Wednesday's their big day, or if Saturday's their big day, so, we're still looking. We're only a
We'll
few
know
months
more,
in.
I think, when the summer hits again.
Oh, I think so, too.
I think that's when
Yeah.
we'll really know.
Right now, as far as the days go,
Uh-huh.
you're open Tuesday through Saturday,
Wednesday through
Wednesday through
Sunday.
Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
How do you track it then? Do you keep it on a computer sheet?
Yes.
Or
Yeah, so we log it every night. And then we have an Excel
it-
sheet.
it's per, like, hour?
No, it's per day.
So, okay, so you don't really know which hours may be the heaviest?
No, but like we don't have so many folks in there that we're like, oh, what should we do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, if somebody comes in and it's close to 4 o'clock, all of my guys or myself will stay later for them to, within a reasonable amount of time.
yeah.
But we've only had a few people that have come in.
I'm just curious, are you finding that mornings are pretty quiet, or I'm just curious about the mornings?
Actually, mornings, it depends. Sometimes I wish we would have like opened at 9 and close a little earlier, but then you just don't know. Because sometimes we get really busy between 10 and 11, and then sometimes between 11 and 12. And then today, it came in after 2. So that was when we had 3 people visit this morning. And then this afternoon, we had at least 8 more in the building when I left, so.
So, just a thought, and not trying to add more work to you, but have we reached out to like the Route 66 Visitor Center across the river and down in St. Clair and seen what days and that they're busier?
So Route 66, the one up in Eureka, they're really good at recommending people come down here, but they're closed for the winter already. They close November, December, January, February.
Okay.
So we are kind of an odd man out when it comes to winter of being open around for most museums.
Because I know Washington closes.
Yeah, they close.
and-
The genealogy closes, the Four Rivers closes. So we are an odd man out with it, but it is kind of fun because that is something that we have that other people don't. So.
Right. Yeah.
Any more discussion on the hours of operations? If not, we'll move on. Bar area update.
The grant was accepted. And other than that, we haven't gone to bid yet for anything, so that is where we are.
And that was for the soda shop?
Yes.
Or okay.
And just keep in mind that, there's been some things said about, we already have an ice cream shop and that. Right now, we don't have an ice cream shop open in town. So, in the summer, we will definitely have one next year, maybe 2, we don't know. So, I'd hate for people to be downing your idea on the off chance that, we're gonna be competing with local businesses. It's gonna be a little different experience from what I understand.
Yes, my expectation is that we're just gonna create some memories while you're down there. We don't want to put it into an actual bar with alcohol. So let's have families be able to reminisce about when they sat in this booth and what they talked about, and then just have like nachos or a scoop of ice cream. And it's not anything fancy. We're not a Baskin Robbins. I'm not expecting to make millions over there at all. It's just something, one, to bring in some revenue, two, to continue with the historic feel and a good use of it. And I can tell you that Ginger's super excited about it. So that's a real positive to have her, because that's where she grew up. So to have her on board with that, I think that's a good thing.
And I don't think it should be looked at as a commercial endeavor. It
Oh,
would just
right.
be something where somebody's in there and they see it and they say, oh, well, let's get some ice cream over
Correct.
here. So it's not,
We're not a restaurant.
But you're saying we're not locked in at this point to that idea?
To most of it, yes, because that's what the grant said.
So it's too early to ask any specific questions about that?
I would say so only because we don't have any kind of bids out, and that has to go to the Board of Aldermen and before we can move forward with stuff. I mean, if you have a question, we can try to answer, but I don't think I'll have the answers for you.
I just wasn't sure that if we're not locked into the soda fountain ice cream idea, then maybe what other ideas have been floated out there? Are we locked into that now that we've gotten the grant for that money?
Yes, we're locked into a concession area.
But concession, but not necessarily that.
I mean,
Ice
it's
creams.
mentioned there, but what are you wanting to do with the bar?
Oh, I've just seen a lot of different ideas from historical museums, where you can even have like photo booth over there or offer, I have a whole list of stuff. But
I'm sorry, but in the grant, you have to pretty much
Yes.
kind of generally say what you're going to use that area for.
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't like, this is what we're going to serve exactly. We're going to serve chocolate. We're going to serve, it's not anything like that. It's still more an open generic one, but it's also not completely generic. Hey, we agree to do this, and that's what we'll go forward with.
if it's concession regardless, are you talking about additional staff hours, or are you going to use what you have?
I'm hoping for a little bit additional staff on Fridays and Saturdays, like one additional person, but the plan is for the person running it to be able to do it. I just am not expecting it to be so incredibly busy, but it will help generate an income for us to at least pay for the lights or something of the such, so that we can make sure we continue to stay open and can grow. And again, to form those memories with families that they had when they were at Red Cedar originally. We're not doing fried chicken or anything fancy or anything with a hood or anything. So I don't want anybody to get any kind of crazy ideas. That's a lot of work.
I just still have concerns about food and beverage, and then you pass through the gift shop and then into the museum with food and beverage. It just doesn't, it could make a mess.
It could, but it could not. Like people may just take it to go. Right now we have like chips and soda you can buy, and we haven't even had a spill of anything. I know, I was like, I get very careful with it.
Well, but the way it's configured, you'd have to like step down to get into the museum from the
Well,
bar
yes.
area, and you could always have a sign, even though, people don't always abide by it, but you can always say, please no food or drinks beyond
Absolutely.
this point.
Yeah, my fear is, again, the children's area is to the rear, and so the kids, regardless of signage, could be
Well, you
going
have to
back
leave
and
that up
forth.
to the
but
parents.
Yes. It's just, I'm just expressing the concern about the food with the museum.
Any more questions on the bar area? All right. Move on to old business. City website, is there any update on when that might be updated?
Right now, Tiffany is super busy with multiple jobs, and so once we get somebody hired, we'll work together. I'm moving forward with it.
Any questions on that?
I would like to see more about Red Cedar and the Historical Society on those pages. And last week, I believe it was, last two Board of Aldermen meetings haven't even been on the calendar and different things, so it's hard to keep track.
Right. Right now, like I said, she's pretty busy with 2 jobs. So.
I had 2 interviews today.
Oh, that's
so
good.
Fingers crossed we'll get someone in.
Any more comments on the website? Guest speaker to 2024. Kelly, you sent out something on the Civil War exhibit for next year?
Yes, so for 2024, in June, we're planning on, like you said, switching over for the rotating exhibit to be Civil War in Pacific, because we'll be coming up to, I believe, 160th anniversary in October of the Battle of Pacific. Ryan had kind of put this together, what we're looking for still. There's a lot of items that we don't have that we'd love to display. We want Ben Brown. He was a teacher out in St. Clair and Sullivan, history teacher, very knowledgeable in Civil War, very interesting to listen to. So we're asking him to be a speaker for us sometime this summer. We don't have a date just set yet, so But we're hoping he'll come one evening and just talk to her. He said it sounds like he's going to do it, but we just don't have a date locked in. And then as you can tell, there's a timeline kind of what we're going to be working on at the bottom, when the interactive displays are going to start beginning, when we have our floor plan ready, when the completed floor plan is, and then all the items that we're going to use in those particular displays we need to have by May 1st to allow time to write a description next to it, because everything's not going to change overnight, but we'd like to get everything started by June 1st. Is our absolute goal. And then we're looking for somebody in the spring to come and talk about trains in Pacific. So we're looking at Iron Spike. They're trying to help us locate a good speaker, probably from within their group, to come out and have an evening over there for about an hour and just maybe learn either about the trains or the trains that come through Pacific or the railroad in Pacific. And we're trying to keep it more towards Pacific so that we want to make sure that they're really knowledgeable in it. So those are the two speakers we're looking for right now for next year. We don't have a night set. We're looking at possibly Thursday nights, but we're not sure. We're trying to stay away from any kind of alderman meeting or historic meetings or anything of that sort, which tend to happen on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, Thursdays is the history classes up at the ECC.
Okay, so maybe
starting,
we won't do Thursday.
Starting March to, I think, March to May. So.
Okay. No, that's good to know. I don't want to compete with them.
So, but if anybody has any suggestions for guest speakers or know somebody that might want to talk on a topic related to Pacific, please get with Kelly. I'm sure she would be interested in talking to those people to set something up.
Are we thinking that guest speakers might be like twice a year, quarterly?
Right now, just twice a year.
Okay.
At least this year, I should say,
Right.
for 2024. 2025 could be a whole different story.
Right. Then you'll start getting into the Route 66 stuff, and you can you'll have more people maybe that more knowledgeable on Route 66 came through
Yes.
Pacific and stuff like that, maybe you can up it up, up the guest speakers for the next few years. Next year, just start getting the ball rolling on how it would work out. Any more questions on guest speakers? Plaques. I received an email from Polly Masson in reference to the B.F. Allen School. There was a group that was trying to raise money to buy a plaque to acknowledge the location of the B.F. Allen School. But I think that hasn't taken off, so they kind of forward the information to us because they know we are looking at putting plaques up on buildings and things like that, so they kind of forwarded it on to us to maybe add it to our list of plaques.
Which
It
I think
was
is
on the
great.
list.
Yeah.
It was on the list.
Yep.
Well, the Moore family came and spoke at an alderman's meeting about having a plaque up there.
Yeah, like Bonnie said, we've got it on the list. So
Sorry.
no,
Dennis.
you're good.
We do need to, I think we talked at the last meeting about narrowing down, trying to get maybe the first group of
Right.
plaques, hone in on which buildings that would be, and then just, I guess, nominate them and go ahead and
Right.
proceed with the project.
I think we need to probably move relatively quickly on it because we do have money in the budget for plaques, and that budget year runs out at the end of June. So we probably want to.
Do you remember how much money and how many plaques we said?
There's 16,000 in the budget for plaques.
For plaques? Okay.
I believe so.
All right.
And I think there was a discussion, Kelly was going to look at maybe different material for plaques because there was some concern on what material we use for plaques.
I think you guys were talking about ceramic or what kind of plaques?
Porcelain type?
Porcelain. So when the porcelain cracks, it'll crack all the way up, and then you have to either replace the whole thing. So I've reached out to a couple different places because when I was looking up like bronze plaques, which is on most historic buildings, the
Huge
prices
cost.
are all over the board.
Yes.
So I've reached out to Washington and asked them if their historical society did it or if like the building owners did it, or how they went about it. So they're trying to research, because before this group came in, other folks had done it, so they're not positive. And I was hoping maybe they could guide us to somebody local who, may be able to do that really well. But I gave you guys all their self-guided tour, the Historical Society one. And even if we can't get all these plaques up, or we start just doing a couple this year, something I like about this that we could possibly get this year, within the next year, you could put all your buildings in it, and it's got 1 to 2 lines on it. So it doesn't have the whole story, but it can at least get people starting to walk around the town and look at the buildings. And then as we add the plaques year after year, I think that'd be beneficial. So that's just my opinion. That's totally up to you guys.
I think this is what we were kind of talking about anyway, was it could be like a walking tour.
Yes.
And we could go with that, but that's a good start.
Right, and then we'd eventually get that QR code that you
And
want.
I just want to say that the porcelain sign, I don't know that was exactly, I think it was something along the lines of porcelain.
Right.
But I don't think it was exactly porcelain. So the cost of that was pretty inexpensive. I can get one ordered, and, I'll pay for it and let the group see it and see what, because we originally looked at the bronze, and it's just, it's way too expensive now after COVID. So,
And that's fine. I just don't want us to have to repay for something that, we don't
right,
have money to do.
right. But I think, I agree, we need to get on this and get something ordered and going this year. And 16,000 is going to give us a good head start on that.
I do have a proposal for that first 5. I don't know if we just want to discuss, or we had in a previous packet the list of the buildings.
Do you have time where you and I could meet for a half an hour at the tops and go through and get a good list? And then we can present next month and we can vote on it?
That would be fine.
Is that all right?
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
All right.
Does that work?
That's fine.
Okay, let's plan on that.
All right, any more discussion on plaques? Grants, is there any grant work out there? Bonnie, did you have any questions on grants or anything like that?
Oh, it was the Heritage Organization, the Ulysses S.
Okay.
Grant.
So those go together, okay.
Yeah, because my question is, I really want to see that exhibit come here. I really do. And they had said it was coming, but then Red Cedar wasn't open in time. But even though that may have been part of their anniversary exhibit, I'd still like to try and contact them to try to get it if possible. And the city also received the $2,500 grant for the Ulysses S. Grant exhibit to use for that.
We gave that back.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, because we couldn't do it within the time frame. As far as I know, we don't have that grant anymore, because this particular exhibit, they said, and I quote, they put it to bed, so they don't want to bring it out at this time. So it's not, if they decide to, they know we're interested, so.
How do we find out for sure if that money went back?
I mean, I guess we can ask, but the exhibit itself was free. The grant was just for some gentleman to come out and speak.
Well, that's
So-
what I thought had allocated it for, but it was anything to help the exhibit with getting people to the exhibit. It wasn't just for that speaker. Anyway, we'll check into it.
Okay.
I just mostly I wanted to know the status of that grant in particular, and then have we or are we applying for anything else similar?
Not at this moment. Right now, we're working on the Civil War.
You're not solely responsible for this part, right, Kelly?
What?
For applying for grants, for
Well-
Red Cedar, or, I mean, that essentially falls to the city administrator?
I do not know, because I'm the one who's applied for the Red
Yeah,
Cedar
Kelly's been
grants.
doing a lot of the grant work for the museum.
I thought that was part of your job description, was to apply for grants for
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you were solely doing it.
Well, they'll help me if I ask. Like, I mean, nobody's told me, no way, I won't help you.
Do you have a list of the ones that you've applied for?
I've only applied for 2. I applied for the $1 million one, and then I applied for the parks one that we got for the soda shop. So the $1 million one, we didn't get it. I ended up going to, I think, the St. Louis Arch Park. So we're so close. We're
Okay.
so close to that. Would be great.
Thank you, I'm learning all kinds of stuff.
Is the name of it $1 million? That was the
No,
amount?
that was the amount.
Wow.
And we had called to make sure that we could because our project was already in play. And so that would have given $1 million to us.
Okay.
We did not get that, just in case, you know, I'm not that clear.
All right, so that covers those 2. F, still looking for volunteers, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So anybody willing to volunteer?
If we get more volunteers, there's definitely, we can stay open longer. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. And if you just want to sit behind the desk and be really nice to folks when they come in and answer questions, that allows all of us to do other projects. Carla's a big help. She comes up a lot.
Is there any incentive?
You get to
Go
work
for
with,
free lunch or something?
no, you get to work with me or Ryan or Vicky or Melanie.
Might have to do an incentive program.
I'll
No,
give you
no offense intended, but
I'll give you a cookie if you
All right,
come.
there you go.
give them Christmas presents and
There you
then
go.
they'll really turn up.
All right, moving on. Reports, genealogy, has there been any research requests or anything? I have noticed that there's a sign on the building now directing people that they can go up, that they can make an appointment to visit the genealogy building. Is it ever open just during the
By
day?
appointment, we've
By
only had
appointment,
one
right.
person, which was Joe Shaper, contact us, I want to go in there. We've got a sign inside Red Cedar, a sign outside of Red Cedar, and then obviously the large sign outside of
Right.
the building, so.
Thank you.
It was kind of funny, Joe Schaefer sent me a little message, because she was looking for information on the silica
Silica.
plant. And she said, do you know anybody, that might be able to help me? And I said, well, Paula Masson, is a good one. And that's the one that was asking her for the information.
Well, they couldn't, I guess Silica Plant themselves had it, they're a changeover in plant manager. And so she came up, and I had no idea, because remember, genealogy is the study of families. But she found what she was looking for, so I was thrilled. It took her about 30, 45 minutes to find the piece she was looking for, but she was thrilled that she found it. I was thrilled she found it. Vicky was thrilled she found it, so that gave us a little bit of a inspiration, because nobody has come up there to utilize the
They
building.
used to have somebody that would go around like to St. Bridget's and that, and had little samples of the sand and stuff like that, with a little video for the kids to watch, but we don't know whatever happened to that
The Silica
contact
group
person.
did that? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, Jessica is a great contact for us, but I think she didn't have the information that she was looking for that a plant manager might have.
Any more questions? Museum, I know you already went over the, kind of the exhibit for the Civil War next year. Has there been any items donated lately or anything like that?
Just the list that we attached, and then, yesterday Dennis donated, was that yesterday?
Monday.
Monday, he, donated, some Meramec transcripts, so we've been going through them to see if we currently have any of them that we have, or, I know that that's not one that we have a ton of, so.
Any questions? Kelly, do you have any report or anything additional you want to add?
No,
All right, any questions for Kelly?
staying busy.
Did you get all the tubs that you needed and everything?
We think so. We've got them all, but you don't want to hear that story. I showed up with a Jeep to pick them up. And I thought they were gonna be stacked like they are at Walmart, and they were not. They came out with this ginormous pallet, so I had to call Chris Fowler, and I'm like, Chris, I sent him a picture. I'm like, it's not gonna fit in the Jeep. So he went and got everything for us and unloaded it. So I think we're in good shape with those.
Good.
All right, good. Alderman Lesh, do you have anything to add?
The last Board of Aldermen, or 2 Board of Aldermen meetings, or maybe 3 if I can remember, because it's been a while since we've met here at History. As we mentioned before, the resolution for the grant acceptance on the soda shop was accepted 4-2. And then again, the nomination of Carlos Stewart.
And we do have one more opening, so there's, if anybody's interested in serving, we do still have one seat that's open. So please volunteer.
There have been no other names put forward. I heard somebody put their name in.
I haven't heard.
Okay.
You can talk to me. I was suggested one name and I called the person and they were just interested in volunteering. They didn't want to serve on the committee. So,
Are you guys interested in volunteering? I'll sign you up now. Did you see all their heads went down really fast? They're like,
Kelly loves her working committees. Come on, guys.
yeah, my working committees.
all right. Anything else, Alderman Lush?
That is it for
All right.
us.
Miscellaneous, I submitted my letter of resignation for the president of the committee. I still want to remain, and the mayor allowed me to remain as a member. But I've been, well, when I founded the committee in 1999, since then I've been off and on the president of the committee, and I just wanted to take a step back and let somebody else lead us for a little while. I appreciate everybody's support throughout the years. It wasn't just me, it was everybody that came together to make all this happen, Red Cedar and everything happen. So just want to take a little break as being president. I just want to sit back and do what you guys do and just, talk and not have to worry about anything else.
Hey, Jeff, they all volunteer about 20 hours a week.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was going to say, thank you very much, Jeff. I just came in on this at the tail end and learned our former mayor was big into the history. So, Board of Aldermen, on behalf of them, I thank you for your time with this
appreciate
museum and
it.
getting it up and running.
I appreciate it. I won't be going anywhere, but I just, so, saying that, is there any nominations for president of the committee?
Well, somebody told me that Dennis would be interested.
All right.
I don't know that is the correct verbiage.
I
think the
that Dennis
verbiage,
himself?
the correct verbiage is Dennis will do it if Jeff won't.
So you're up, Dennis.
Yeah, so I nominate Dennis Oliver for president.
I second it.
Is there any more nominations?
Can I nominate somebody?
No.
The technical answer is yes.
So is there a motion to close nominations and elect Dennis Oliver president by acclamation?
Motion.
By Don, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Carla. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
I will remember all of your votes.
All right, any more miscellaneous?
Do we, yes, I will have miscellaneous, but do we have a vice chair?
I mean, in the
thought-
past it was Donna.
I thought it was Donna.
Yeah.
I nominate Bonnie.
That backfired on you, Bonnie?
I thought it was Donna.
Backfired on her?
Yeah. So I have a nomination of Bonnie to be vice president.
I would have to decline that at this time.
Okay.
You're stuck.
Is there any more, or any nominations?
Well, I heard that Jeff Titter would do it.
I heard that too.
Maybe Carla would like to do it.
Is this where the liaison nominates Kelly?
If somebody else would like to do it.
The reluctant committee.
No, I mean, yes, I mean, I would do it unless somebody else would like to have that opportunity. Because like I said, I've been involved for a long time. So,
Well, and, taking Jeff's point of view, I've been with this since 2013, 2014, something like that.
Before that.
Longer before,
Yeah.
well, yeah, probably
we moved in,
Is that a
14.
yes or a no?
14 or 15 years, so I would like to kind of step back from it too.
Oh my God, you're down to one.
Was
All right.
there a nomination for Jeff? Jeff, are you willing then?
yes, I'm willing.
I'll make the motion to nominate Jeff Titter as the vice chair.
I second it.
Any more nominations?
You drew the short
I
straw.
know, right? I do enjoy it. I mean, I do. So is there a motion to close nominations and elect
Motion.
me as,
I'll second it.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Any more discussion, miscellaneous?
I forgot one thing, did with the meeting gaps, did you guys get the word back on your meetings at Red Cedar from me?
Oh, we haven't.
No, Board of Aldermen said that they would
Well,
check to
let
see
me report on
if,
that. I was gonna say, I couldn't remember whether we'd had a meeting and I was able to get that word back to you.
We didn't.
No, yeah.
So the word that came back on that in the board meeting was they were just thinking of the technical difficulties and then also whether or not there were tables or things to do it. I don't think the notion was dismissed, but I just think everyone was kind of like, how are we gonna accomplish that? So I would say if you guys can come up with that nitty gritty, just how you do it, you know, table wise, seating wise.
Table and seating is easy, because we kind of talked about this the other day, me and Kelly. We don't have to be in the museum, because we could meet up in the genealogy building, and we have a lot of stuff stored there that if we need to go through and do, and if we need to go down to the museum, we can always adjourn and go down and talk about things down there as well, so.
We'll just have to figure out a way to broadcast that, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what? the issue?
And that is not too difficult either. So there's two options on that, which was we can just broadcast it straight from an iPad. That's what I was referencing. I don't think our seating and our requirements to pick up audio are going to be very difficult.
Right.
It's just going to primarily be the 6.
Yeah.
And I think an iPad would do it. That would be streaming. The other option is that it can be just posted an hour later. So it can be recorded with another device if we're, you know.
Right.
And that's some of the technicalities. If the iPad doesn't pick up the audio well, like I said, we can use other equipment that can do it, and then you just post it an hour later.
I would want one of you guys to set up and tear down. So set up the meeting room, tear down the meeting room. Wherever we are meeting.
I think we can accomplish that.
Yeah.
I thought the hangup was the broadcasting.
Yeah.
So do we have permission then from Board of
No,
Aldermen?
I don't think the conversation went that far. I think
We probably
all
have
had
to, I
questions
would
about
imagine
the
we would
technical
probably have to
part.
present a plan to them
Yeah.
of how we would do it,
Yep.
and then they would let us know.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we have a plan, correct?
And to add, I think the assumption was, and that might be for clarification too, I was assuming as I basically talked about it, was this was just like a one-time thing or maybe twice a year, not consistently every meeting there.
I would like at least once a quarter, because, you know, if she has things, like, I'm thinking like, and I'm gonna say the wrong word, but
Deaccession.
deaccession items. You know, if she, you know, if we're doing that, we can go in and actually pick up the item and look at it, talk about it, who donated it, do we need this, do we not need it? You know, that's what I'm thinking, you know, and maybe after we get everything up and rolling and going, you know, next year or something, maybe we don't need to meet down there every quarter, but I think once a quarter would be good.
Okay? No problem. I don't think that'd be a problem.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm good with, you know, going forward and saying, you know, once a quarter, we have a meeting down there. You know, we can meet in the genealogy building, we have enough seating and tables for, even if we had guests, I think we could accommodate that. And try it on the iPad, and if we have to post it an hour later, we'll post it an hour later.
And to be clear, I don't know that the city has an iPad, so that idea would involve somebody's personal.
Okay? I've got an
Or
iPad.
even an iPhone. These new iPhones are
Yeah,
doing just
right.
as well.
Yeah, I've got an iPad. I don't know how to do it, but I got an iPad. If we can figure out how to do it.
So, what's your pleasure?
I can
Do we-
consult with our city's IT streaming consultant.
Okay.
Why don't you, do you want
I was
to see,
wondering if you were gonna look at me.
I was like,
for the next meeting, do you want to
Like, I
see
was
if,
looking at you too. I was like,
I guess maybe,
Is
I
that
don't
one
know,
of my
where do you
many
want to go
times
with
now?
this? Do you want to get it to the alderman and say, this is our plan?
I think we
Okay.
can get it to the alderman and say this is our plan, because between Tiffany and half the people in this town, we can figure out a way to, get it working on an iPad, I think. Don't you?
I would say yes.
I honestly used my phone at the chamber to video all of our luncheons, or if we wanted to go live at a luncheon to make an announcement or anything like that. We just bought a $15 stand on Amazon that holds a phone, and, I mean, it picked up audio pretty well.
Okay. I would like to make that motion and to present to the aldermen and for their,
Consideration or
yeah.
approval?
Yep.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Bonnie. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just to be clear, the motion is to host meetings quarterly
Quarter-
at the Genealogy Center. for the-
Our Red Sea, at the complex.
At the complex,
Yeah, at the
yep.
Red Cedar complex.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Nope, good. Perfect.
Kelly, how did the special reception go with, didn't the mayor have a bunch of mayors over?
yes, it
How
sounded
did
like it
that
went really
go?
well. It
Yeah.
sounded like it went really well. And
How many people were there?
I don't know. I wasn't there, but my team was, and they said they got to meet a lot of new people and talk to a lot of new faces. So
That's
everybody
good.
seemed very happy to actually get to see Red Cedar.
Yeah, yeah.
A year ago, I gave a talk about Red Cedar at a breakfast that they had, so it was really kind of cool for them to get to actually see what I spoke about
Yeah.
and actually come to
Well,
fruition.
that's good.
Any more discussion?
Are we still?
A
under-
motion?
Are we still under miscellaneous?
Yes.
I have a couple of questions. Was there any, I'm going to ask a question again, was there any reach out to MoDOT to put
No,
Red Cedar or
no,
that Pacific exit to Route 66
no.
at Allenton? Do I need to follow up with somebody?
I just haven't had time. In addition to running Red Cedar and the genealogy and tourism, being on the board of the partnership, bringing in items, trying to get past perfect going, figuring out stuff for next year, and lack of volunteers. That's not one on my priority list.
Slacker.
That's okay, that did not hurt my feelings. It's not off of our list, it's just not at the top of the priority list.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure that that didn't have to go through Administrator Selby either.
I think, well, we're just asking the question, and then after that, if they say, oh, it's gonna cost you this, then it's gotta go through a whole bunch of people,
Right.
but
All right, any
if
more
they're like,
questions?
yeah, we'll put it on, I don't think it's a big deal.
Any more questions?
I had mentioned to Jeff, I saw where, I think it's the City of Independence has in their genealogy center some equipment where you can transfer VHS tapes and older technology to digital, and you can scan photos and make them into digital, things that we don't normally as individuals have at home, but they provide the equipment as a service to the public. Would we be possibly interested in getting that kind of equipment? I would.
Like, if you want to probably bring something back with the equipment and cost, we can put it on the next meeting agenda.
Okay, some more volunteer hours.
Yes. Well, and like, we did look at, Ryan had found this really cool thing that we wanted to put a kiosk in Red Cedar that you could research the genealogy to see if you wanted to actually go up there. But once we got like just the very basic, even though it was a yearly subscription, it was gonna be $9,000. We were asking for between a $2,000 and $3,000 one, so I could come to you. But with $9,000, I'm not coming to you guys with that.
I will try to have that by the next meeting.
Anything else?
Just, I guess, our next meeting date. I did see where Red Cedar closed early, December 8th. What was
It was a
that?
private function.
We just talked about it.
Yeah, that's what Donna was asking about.
Oh,
Yeah, that the mayor
North Philly
had,
had,
the mayor invited other mayors
Yeah.
from the area to Red Cedar.
Okay, sorry.
Nope,
It must
you're
have been
good.
when Dennis was talking to me. Okay.
probably.
Yep. It should be, next meeting should be January 10th.
At 5 o'clock?
Yeah, it should be 5 o'clock, yes. Unless the new president decides to change that. All right, any more?
Motion to adjourn?
I have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Or do you have anything else, Bonnie?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Carla. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you.
Aye.